doing your work?
Well, for me, it feels a little bit yeah, solitary. So that you can soak in some kind of energy of this particular city, just by yourself with nobody else yeah, around you. So yeah, that feels some kind of that you can really soak in this kind of energy instead of being distorted by anything else.
Yeah. I want to start our conversation tonight a little bit with some personal stuff about you, if we can. Is there a childhood memory of seeing public art, perhaps for the first time, that really sticks out to you?
Well, when I grew up in a very small town in the Netherlands, I wasn't that busy with art, but mostly busy yeah, surviving into the kind of group of friends I had or wanted to have, uh, but that was already hard. So uh, yeah, I wasn't that much acquainted with art in general, so that we didn't go to any museums or so. But yeah, so not really special.
Yeah, that's really fascinating to think about the kind of work you do and the scale at which you do it. That's kind of you're thinking about your childhood experience. What was your relationship to drawing and painting and doing artwork as a kid?
For me, it was a kind of way of um, yeah, getting back from all the worries. So just having my A4 paper and pencil, just working on some architecture or whatever comes in my mind, and yeah, so I didn't have to think about other stuff around me. So it was also quite more just by myself. And
it's interesting as you talk about that it was a bit of a way for you to be solitary. I think you talk about being up there, that it's a way for you to kind of soak it all in. Do you find that sort of work, the art, being in a space like you are way up high working on this, as a bit of a meditation or a way to kind of find tranquility in a very busy environment?
yeah, for sure. Yeah, mostly we have some music on, but never headphones, because I want to be aware of what is happening around me, and I can work like 16 hours, like yeah, on such a day, because you get into this kind of zone, into this vibe, which you're completely lost. And sometimes you go down from the lift and you see your work and you say, oh, okay, that's not where I was, but it looks perfect. So and that's a kind of yeah, surprising act which I always like.
You're surprised by your own work.
Yeah, well, not always, because I know what I
Sure.
can achieve with my techniques and with my work. But sometimes I'm even surprised. Yeah, what I did. So
Perhaps the quantity of how much you accomplished.
also, but
Yeah.
also the quality, also the way it is preserved on that yeah, particular spot, because mostly I'm working on that yes, location, and the wall is 1 meter in front of me, but my head is already on that viewpoint. So I have to be constantly aware and constantly switch on what I can do with my body and with the art itself, and then also switch back while I'm up there, how it looks from down there on that one particular viewpoint. So, and if I'm standing there, then I see, okay, oh yeah, that's perfect. So, but you're always not fully aware of that when you're up there.
Yeah. Was there an adult in your life who encouraged you to pursue art?
Yeah, well, I had an uncle who just passed, by the way, but he was like very enthusiastic and I think he saw also some kind of way of how I was thinking about being yeah, creative, and he took me to ballet and some kind of music performances. So probably he was the most aware of what I could achieve in my art.
Did you know that you could do this as a kid? I mean, like, is this something that, like, there's a stereotype in America that kindergartners, first graders, adults ask them, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And for me, I didn't know you could be a public radio reporter when I was 5, 6 years old, and it's something I just kind of fell into after years. Did you know that you could be an artist at that age?
Well, I didn't know actually what an artist does or what he actually has to do. So I've been never aware of what an artist can do. So most of it is like I like to do what I do now, and if it's called an artist, then it's okay by me. But it can be also, if they call me like an accountant, it's also fine by me. I just like what I do. Yeah.
Yeah. Much of your work hinges on perspective, on orientation. Some of your work has an anamorphic perspective. Others have an augmented reality component to them. Why is that important to you as a creator, to have those elements in your artwork?
Yeah, I like to envision everything in 3D. So after I did the 3D perspective techniques, so anamorphic techniques, perspectives, I even work with different strings and do like 9-point perspectives, very complicated. But yeah, for me it feels that it is a nice combination to have all these kind of mathematical techniques combined with my skills in working with paints. And after that I thought, okay, maybe I can have this other dimension as well. So I incorporated together with a friend of mine who is very good in making 3D animations, and to work on that. So if you scan some works, you can see even like an extra layer appear on top of the work on your screen, and that will be like the augmented reality. And then it will become even more 3D. So it feels that I've been constantly working on this kind of extra layer of 3D. Yeah.
How many bad paintings did you have before you had one that you were like proud to show other people?
Well, that's the case in public art. So yeah, whenever you make something, it's always visible, especially if people make photos of it. But I'm always happy what I do, and it's never wrong, because if you make some mistakes, I think, okay, next time I will do better, and that's why I always see that every painting I make is good, and because it's a learning lane, but every next painting is even better.
Before you really started to do public art, was there a time where you talked about your pencil and your A4 paper, right? When did it manifest that the piece of paper wasn't a big enough canvas for you?
Yeah, I think that's about thinking big. So you want to you take on some other kind of materials like other brushes. You make them bigger and you think, oh no, I can't work on this small scale with this big brush. So you make it bigger and bigger, and yeah, and you also notice that people are more impressed if you are on a large scale of work. So, and that fills up also some kind of conversation, and especially in the public art, because if you are there, then people are talking about your art, and that's always nice as an artist, that people recognize your art, talking about it, and then even from that kind of discussions, your art can grow as well.
That's important to you, is to think about how people perceive your art. Is that important?
Yeah, probably. It's not that I think about it that much directly. Like I have to make it like for a word for others. Probably it comes sometimes from my youth or something like that didn't get that much attention when I was a kid, and now I wanted to have a little bit more attention towards my art. Yeah.
I mean, I talk on the radio for a living. I can empathize with that.
Yeah.
Let's talk logistically here for a bit, if we can. What does it look like to pitch a mural of this size to a city? Say, how does the process go for you of the city of Fayetteville says that they want a mural? On your end of that conversation, what does it look like?
Well, for me, it feels that I'm now in a kind of luxury position, that I have a lot of people around me that know what I do, and they are pitching the work for me. So that's kind of yeah, comfortable. And I always say that if the people are that I'm working a kind of a collaboration with, so they are pitching my work, that they have to stand for the artist viewpoint, so the artistic viewpoint in that matter. You have a lot of like marketing companies and they want to have some pile in this pond, like also some money, but they are more like client based. So they are always thinking about, oh, yeah, what does the client need or a city need, and then they come up with, okay, we can have this artist. But I always like to have this kind of conversations with people that are sure about art, and they can also translate that to other people like cities or other clients. But that's like yeah, that's now. But when I was in the beginning, I did it all by myself. So I had to. That's where your question comes in probably even more. So then I had to pitch myself some kind of works, and that's always a kind of hassle, because if you are into the public art, everybody wants to have a say at it. And even more, yeah, even more people. So if you have a city and you have like 20 people want to have a say at it, it's always a little bit difficult when you want to express your art in there. But nowadays people know me and know what I can do, so people take trust in my work, and that feels very honorable.
Yeah. When you think about the relationship you have with your team, you think about the people who are doing the pitching for you, who are doing that sort of negotiating on your behalf. How do you have those sorts of conversations with them to say, you know, I don't know if this is a good fit, or how do they know how to best articulate your viewpoint and your opinions?
Yeah, I think you have to ask also like the organization in that matter, because they are also investigating the artist and what they want to say in their art. So that helps, of course, that you're kind of yeah, trying to be a little bit more standing back at that, because I like to do what I can do best, and that's just be up there in the lift and paint. Yeah.
And having an accountant who can take care of those things for you is probably helpful too, right?
Yeah.
How do you stay organized when you're in the lift, when you're in the crane, you're in the middle of a project? How do you keep track of where you are, what you still have left to do, what's coming up next? Do you keep a mental checklist? Is there like a physical sort of like process you have to make sure you've done everything you need to?
Yeah, well, I always take into account that if it takes 8 days, then it has to be finished in 8 days. But if it's like in 2 weeks, then I will do maybe more details. And I have my assistant next to me who is kind of very well in organizing that kind of stuff and telling me, okay, oh, maybe this is oh, we can do this part first and that part. So yeah, that's very helpful as well. And yeah, like organizing skills. Mostly I got lost into these details too much, and then it feels like that I got lost of the track in time. So that's why I work probably 16 hours a day, or if I can. Yeah. And yeah, that's the kind of losing track. But I don't think that's bad for being an artist.
Yeah. Do you take criticism well? I mean, like you've got an assistant up there with you. You've got someone there kind of keeping you in check. I imagine your relationship with them has to be pretty intimate.
Yeah, well, I can have good critics towards my art, but I know what I do. So of course I do sometimes also some messages in my art, and that can be a little bit like tricky, because you have this kind of discussion. And but yeah, according to my specialty, my techniques, yeah, I think I'm the most critic to myself. So that will, yeah, I don't think there will be any chance that people can say, oh, you have to do this better, or you can draw better lines or something. No.
Yeah, thinking about the commentary that your art does, whether we like it or not, all public art is political, right? Just the idea that being able to be in a space where public art exists is a statement of politics. How do you think about that in your context as an artist, whether you're making statements through your art or just the act of creating art in a space? How do you think about the commentary that your work can produce in that way?
Well, I have like two different kind of ways of making my art, creating my art. So when I'm in a studio, I mostly don't think about like what other people can say because it's not public. So I can embrace more my own opinion towards this art form in my studio. But if I'm out there, as for example, at a public place like this, I take into account that I don't want to offend anybody or make too much provocation towards anybody, because it's like I'm here for 2 weeks and then I leave the city, I leave the country, and then people got stuck with art which they don't like, and that feels a little bit silly to do, because and I think that's of course you can have this kind of openness and having a spark of conversation towards that kind of art, because that's what art does. But some provocative art to place that somewhere in a public space, that's not my thing.
Yeah. One critique I've seen about you being selected as the artist for these 2 large-scale murals here in Fayetteville is not necessarily directed at you, but it's the comment of, why wasn't a local artist selected for this project? How do you respond to those kinds of comments when you hear people saying, not necessarily at you, but perhaps at the city, to say, why didn't they pick someone local?
I get these kind of comments often. Not well if you are in a foreign country or in a city which you aren't common with. But for me, it feels like if you go to like a concert, and you have a local band playing, people are coming like maybe a couple of hundred people, and then Iron Maiden comes in. You think, oh wow, that attracts a lot of people. So it's a difference about quality as well. So it's not that that I want to have like, okay, there are not so many good local artists, but I have a name. I can create my art very well, and So I think it's important to have this kind of way of art that is also known by like a lot of people around in the world. Like if you have an artist from Portugal who makes different colors than artists from Mexico, they will bring another kind of culture inside the city, and that will also attract like other people. And
yeah, a few months ago, I did an interview with Joanna here, the public arts director, and one of the things that she said, I kind of asked a similar question to her, was this idea that art isn't an invasive species, and this idea that all art coming into a place is good art and betters the community. How do you think about the impact of your art, whether it's here or any other place that you go in for a moment, make the art, and leave? How do you think about how that impacts the community, impacts the children who see it, impacts folks who, I mean, as you point out, you didn't interact with public art as a kid. How do you think about how your work can inspire and create a certain idea in folks that they didn't know that they had?
Well, I've seen that a lot happen already, also here, but also in other cities, that you're up there, and then people meet each other in front of the wall, and they are having a kind of conversation about the piece, but they have never seen each other, and they are talking about the work itself And so it's also a kind of way of meeting for locals who are living here, and yeah, that gives some kind of nice examples for that. So I've also had a lot of conversations when I'm in a bar, something. Then they say, "Oh, you're the artist," and yeah, I talked to the other guy about it, and but I like that the other art better. So you have a kind of conversation going on about public art in general, and that's nice. And some people like it, some people not, and some people like the other one better. That's why I also feel that there has to be a lot of differences in art forms. Like for example, in my city, in Utrecht in the Netherlands, there's one artist who's doing all the murals. They look all the same. And I always say, no man, bring in other artists that are from other cities, from other countries, and then you have another kind of conversation and other feel about other cultures as well.
It's like a garden, right? You want a variety of plants.
Yeah.
You want a variety of things to look at, to see how they interact with one another, how they inform one another. Do you see that? I mean, as you were coming here to the city, did you take a look at other art that was here and see how your art can contrast or complement that art?
Well, it's always when I travel, I always like to do it when I have to create a mural like this. I like to have the conversations firsthand, and so not by filling in a sketch. Okay, this could be an idea for the city, yeah. But I like to have a kind of conversation. Okay, what is going on in the city? What can be like something extra? What can I do for the people living in the city or for the city itself? So, but obviously that's not always possible because I travel from far. And but I always look up like on the internet what are some kind of issues or kind of people worrying about, and I try to put that into my work as well.
There's a quote of yours from a German publication where you say, "Every street art piece is unique and belongs to the street and its residents." Can you talk more about your relationship with your public art? And I know that there's this idea with art that there's a separation, right, between the object and the artist. There's this idea that once the object is completed, it no longer belongs to the artist. Do you feel that way, that once you've completed a piece of work, that it's no longer yours?
Always, yeah. Always, also with my paintings in the studio. They just go out into the galleries or art shows, and it's already gone. My girlfriend often says, "Oh, I want to keep this." No man, it's already gone. It's out of my head, so then it's already gone.
So you're not precious about your art?
No.
How?
How? Yeah,
I can't imagine that.
No, it's like I'm always focused on what's next. It's like, oh, I just want to work. I just want to work on new stuff, new and better stuff, and yeah, it's not that I don't like the previous work,
right?
But it's more like I love more to focus on the next one.
It doesn't sound like you're a perfectionist. Would you describe yourself as a perfectionist?
Most of the people say that I am, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I don't. From our conversation, I don't feel that way though, because
No.
I see you as someone who, as you're talking about here, right? That if it doesn't go quite as you expected, you roll with it. You go with the flow of what's happening. You're able to zoom out and see, okay, that turned out different than I thought it would, but it's still great. And you're able to walk away from it without just one more detail, one more detail. I don't see that. I don't hear that from you about your work.
No, maybe that's because I've been grown up in the Netherlands, and if you're grown up in that country, if you put up your head above the Mayfield like that, your head will be chopped off. so and here I know in the US you have to exaggerate a little bit, but I'm not used to that. So it's maybe it's also about your feeling that I don't exaggerate about my work that much. But it's the way it is. It's like no, but I also know if I work on something, it has to be good, and I know it's good. So.
Yeah, I think there's a difference for me. I hear pride in your work, and I hear that you value the work that you do, but you don't see yourself as someone who like goes to bed at night just terrified and worried and anxious about your work. From what I hear of you saying about your work is that you do the work for 16 hours and you go sleep.
Yeah, I sleep very well. Yeah.
I find that really fascinating. I'm someone who overthinks everything that I do, and it's a bit refreshing, honestly, to see that you're able to come into a space for a few weeks, really soak in as much as you can about where you are, do a work that you're really proud of and is excellent work, and be able to walk away.
Maybe you think too much. You just do.
Well, there's no denying that.
Yeah.
What keeps you inspired?
People, yeah. People, the people I meet and the people I see, and yeah. And sometimes you see, okay, I travel a lot, and then I find like the cultures, but mostly when I see how people move, how people walk, how people talk, and yeah, that's kind of the most inspiring part. And that's everywhere is different, so that's cool to see.
Do you see a difference in the way that different countries or different continents interact with and soak in public art?
Well, in general, it's mostly the same. Yeah, like you, also some comments are also the same. And I noticed that the street art in general is getting more appreciation. So that's very good. When I started it, like sometimes I worked there to say, yeah, can you do it with chalk? So yeah, also good. But then it can only last just before the rain, right? Then it will wash off. I said, no, yeah, that's good because we don't know if it's appreciated by everyone. So and then, but after a while, after a few years, then they said, oh no, we want to keep it. Yeah, but now I made it with chalk. So that's why you feel a little bit it's changing, and that's good.
When you think about some of the first public artwork that you did, have you been able to revisit it, see how it's aged, see how it's been embraced by the community at all?
Mostly I see that online, but so I don't go back to, I don't go back to the work I did. So, yeah.
What sort of comments do you hear from fans? Do you hear from folks who admire your work and are inspired by your work? Do you see emails, messages on social media?
Yeah, they ask me a lot of questions also about the technique and how they can, how artists can make their career, or maybe advise something, or and always open for this kind of discussion.
Do you find it easy to explain to people how you do what you do? So say an artist wants to better understand how to make 3D art or make, that sort of art. Do you find it easy to articulate, or is it just like you learned through a bit of osmosis, or you learned in such a way that it's hard for you to explain?
Well, I think it's the most hardest part for the artist is to finding its own kind of soul, its kind of signature. But techniques can be learned. So whenever they ask something about the technique, I'm always open to spread the word and to also say about something about that, because that's nice to bring it also to other artists. Like the technique, but if you really want to find your own signature, you have to do that something extra with that.
I teach a class here at the university, and one of the things I always tell students is the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. And I think that really stands for a lot of work that we do. Have you found that in your work, that the more you do it, the better you've gotten at it? The things that were once difficult are now second nature? The things that you thought were impossible, you're able to accomplish?
Yeah, I feel that also. It's also that they say, I don't know, it's also in the US, but they say, you have to work on it on something like 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
And then you master the skills. Of course, it also takes some talent, but yeah, it's truly like if you want to perceive like the way I do the perspective lines and the way I think about like perspective, then you have to work on it very hard and see what you can achieve with it. It's not only that you can like, oh, I want to do some 3D artwork, and then well, I know also some artists who just do it out of their feeling, but I see, yeah, immediately how you can make it better with if you're using the right perspective.
Do you have a hard time taking what's in here and putting it on a wall? Has that gotten easier over time?
I don't try to make it easier, but it's like, yeah, because if it's getting easy, then it can be like boring, right? So
Yeah.
I always try to, oh no, I have to do something extra, but to keep my kind of skills going. That's the kind of important. So don't indulge yourself with this kind of, oh, I have this feeling now that I have a hang in it. So now I can do what I'm good at. No, just trying to push the limits. And that's what I always try to do.
What's a project that you maybe flew a little too close to the sun? It was you challenged yourself maybe more than you expected to, and you found yourself struggling to meet that expectation, that maybe self-expectation.
Mostly that's about time. I mostly forget about the time I have. So I think, oh, I can do that in these days, but then I'm just stuck in there. Oh no, I can't make it in those short amount of time. So and then yeah, that happened a lot.
Yeah. When will you know that you're done making art?
In general, or this one, in this piece?
In general, I mean, like, will there come a point in your life? Do you imagine a point in your life where maybe you're 86 years old and you say, I don't think I can keep doing this?
No, there's never. No, it's when I'm dead or something. No, I'll always do something with art. Yeah. Of course, if you are not able to, maybe your body won't function, but then I think my brain will still be producing something. Yeah.
Are you able to turn it off at all? I mean, like, you sound like someone who's just insatiably curious, someone who's always excited for something new. Are you able to relax ever?
Yeah, I can relax, but mostly with my sketchbook and a beer and still. Yeah.
What's your beer of choice?
There's normal lager beer, just refreshing. Yeah, I could have one now, but it's like.
Maybe afterwards.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anything I missed. Anything you want to make sure we talk about here?
No. Yeah, nice conversation. So it's all good by me. Maybe
anything
maybe
you want to ask me? No, I'm just kidding. Well, Leon, I really appreciate your time here. Thank you so much. We're going to have just a little bit of time here for question and answer. If any of you have a question for Leon, I invite you to come up to. We've got 2 microphones here on the outside here. Please feel free to come up and ask Leon any question. And be sure to give us your name too, so he knows who's talking to him.
Hi, my name is Michael. I was interested. All right. Hi. Hi, I'm Michael. We were talking about perfectionism, but also that you aren't too precious about when it's time to leave a piece. And I was curious about that moment when it clicks for you, where you transition from being driven by the perfection to, I can move on now. This is what I had in mind, and it's time to move on to the next thing.
Oh, good question. Yeah, that's like yeah, for me that feels differently compared to the work I do in the studio or compared to public art, because there's always a kind of time frame into the public art pieces I have to make. But in my studio, I can get lost in that kind of way of, okay, no, there's another day tomorrow. I'm gonna work on it even more and more. And when it's finished, it's the time that I did all my techniques and all my skills towards that piece, and then it's done. But if it has this kind of, oh, it needs some extra highlight, then I will do the extra highlight also on that one tiny piece. But only when it's completely done in the studio. Thanks.
Yeah.
Hi, Everett DePanger. Could you talk about the planning that went into this particular mural? And specifically, was there any, were you given options about where on the building it would be? Was there discussion about that? And then also the falling cars, how was that chosen? And were there other options that you discussed with the library? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, well, the first option was a very big wall here in Fayetteville. So yeah, if you see that wall as a street artist, you are kind of melting and thinking, okay, yeah, I wanna work on that. After that, we heard that that wasn't possible. Yeah, I tried to have this kind of solution into making something else, and the organization who helped with production also came in for several options. And we had a job in Joplin, so we traveled to here just to see if there was any other possibilities for the city. And we find some nice spots, and the city said, okay, we can do that on this wall and this wall. So I made some sketches for that, and the people who had to discuss about that, they liked the sketches, and therefore okay. Yeah, try to prepare for my travel to here and work on this wall. And the way I sketch is like, I just take a paper, a pencil, make a pencil sketch, send it over, not colored, because I like to work on the colors while I'm here. And then you ask something about the concept of this piece. Well, you know, it's a parking lot over there, and it was also a parking garage where we had to plan like the first wall. So I had to. No, I didn't have to, but I wanted to have a kind of nice childhood memory on that big wall, but now on the little bit smaller wall. But it feels like the concept also fits on this wall, because it's a kind of same situation according what is happening inside the building. And for me, it's about a kind of trip way back to memory lane. And the memory which I had as a child, and playing with the cars and stuff. Yeah, getting to have a kind of mashup, and yeah. So
Before we get to you, I just remembered I had heard that when you were doing the colors on the wall, that you were doing the coloring in the lift. That you were picking the colors. You're mixing the colors in that moment while you're doing the art. You haven't pre-planned. You don't have the colors pre-mixed before you go up. No. You're doing the coloring while you're in the crane.
Yeah, that's a kind of a particular style. I don't know any other muralists do that, but mostly they see, okay, I have to paint this object, and it's this special color, so they pre-mix it. But I take, like on my brush, I take some ochre, some yellow, some white, and I put it on the wall, rub it in, and then I know that's the color. So that's the way I work, and that's the way I work already, like for many years. And yeah, it's a special technique, but I love to work like that, because then you know what kind of colors can do with your work.
Yeah.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. All right, so I'm Andre Jones. So I have a background with 2D game development, right? So I know your mural, right, with 3D and all the fancy stuff that you were talking about is very hard, right? And you mentioned that as a child, you did not know about that you could become an artist. So what I'm asking, do you have any program, or would you in the future join an organization to help like youths in Fayetteville and other places to own these skills and learn these skills and to create these artworks?
Oh, yeah, thanks, Andre. Yeah, it's. I think it's first also if you want to be involved in some art or being creative. yeah, just do it. It's like just work on the, yeah, just work on it. Even it's a small scale, but and also if you don't have any materials, there's, yeah, maybe you can find some kind of like old roof tiles and just work with that on as a kind of chalk based on the floor, or maybe with some found materials or whatever. Just try to do what you like to do, and try to be like kind of having kind of evolution in there as well. Yeah. For me, it's also very important that you're not stuck on this kind of way of way of doing the same thing over and over again, because you like it and you know it, but it's a constant evolution. But also, yeah, pick it up, but it's. I know there are a lot of artists, and it's hard to get your career going because of this kind of competition. And yeah, I've been in the field like more than 30 years already, and also had struggle of man, why don't anybody see my art and stuff. But yeah, it's just keep on pushing and keep on doing working. That's all I can say.
Hey, I'm Clint. I work with Matthew. I'm a ringer. I got a quick question. Two questions, actually, if that's all right. One is, as I read about your work, I learned about you using augmented reality, and maybe including like local gems, or what I call Easter eggs, in the art. I just wanted to give you the opportunity, I wanted to ask about how you make the paint come to life with using either augmented reality or Easter eggs or other things that might drive engagement beyond something pretty. That's my first question. My second one is just, there's a lot of municipalities and regions investing in public art for various reasons. I'm wondering, like, what, from your experience having worked in different cities all over the place, what cities that are serious and good about working with artists in public art, what do they do well versus others?
Okay. Yeah. Well, first the augmented reality part. In there, it's yeah. I've been working with this 3D animator like for a very long time already, and when I have some ideas, I just pitch them. I pitch him a kind of idea, and then he works with the 3D animation. So for example, this mural, we have like several kind of cars, toy cars, which I already have in my collection. You have a huge collection of old toy stuff. And we scanned every car like with a 3D scanner. So every car is 3D scanned, and the 3D animator put them all together in this kind of way of that has a kind of nice composition. And then after that, when you scan the wall, you will get this 3D animation appear on your screen, and then it will be coming alive. And the advantage, if you have every object also as a 3D animation, as a 3D object, you can do whatever with it what you like. So you can turn it around. You can, yeah. So that's a kind of fun to work with as a 3D animation. So it's not a layer on top of the mural, but it's also that you can walk around it and you see it differently compared to the viewpoint you were standing before.
I'm sorry, my second one was about how are cities that are really good at working with artists in public art, what do they do well?
What cities are doing well is
not what cities, but like what's it, I mean, imagine some folks just throw money at it.
Yeah.
But what other kinds of what do cities are good at? What do they do?
If a city is very appreciative towards art and toward what the artist has to say, I feel that it has this kind of nice connection. So even if a city does that, and not only try to push like, oh, we have this idea, can you work around that? So then you as an artist, you feel more as a kind of production guy, and it feels more that you are being honored as an artist and come into the city and work on your own kind of feel and artistic viewpoint.
Hi, Lian. Thank you for sharing your work. I'm Suache. I'm teaching painting at the University of Arkansas. My question is, okay, first of all, I remember that you are more focusing on the next work. So you said, yeah, once you finish one work, yeah, it feels like you are very comfortable with letting it go, right?
Yeah.
I think that approach is kind of reflect your philosophy, kind of ephemerality, impermanence of street art. So I found it really fascinating that those impermanence is kind of a contrast or complement to the last existence of some street art or public art. Some art pieces last in people's memory forever, right? So I'm just wondering, how do you think about this kind of very interesting relationship between the ephemerality, impermanence of public art, and then the last forever quality
Yeah.
of the public art?
Yeah, well, I think you have to be present also while you're doing the art. So a kind of interactive moment when you have the working process. It's very interesting. I always feel, because then you see how the art is being made, and I try to persuade like a city, work with me to make a mural in chalk. Just only with chalk lines, only like it looks the same as this, but only with chalk, and then it will wash off. It gives this kind of extra feel that you have to be present to see it, and then you have this kind of way of thinking of, okay, this is really special because it only exists for a couple of days, and it feels that it also belongs to street art in general, because it's ephemeral anyway. It's okay. This will stay for a couple of years, but eventually, like the building itself will stay longer. And yeah.
Would you like to meet my students? To share more
Well,
about
there
your
are some
work?
empty there are some empty chairs. So
Okay,
yeah.
thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, I think that's what we have.
Yeah.
Everyone, please give a round of applause to Leon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody, if you would, as you leave, if you could give us your thoughts on the program and what you would like to see in the program in here at the library, it helps us tremendously. Thank you all for being with us. Again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.